The molecular TB lamp solution allows for a sensitive and accurate detection of tuberculosis. It is easy to perform and gives robust test results, even under tough conditions. The workflow consists of 4 main steps. All steps are performed with the help of HumaLoop T, which combines a heating unit, an amplification unit, and a fluorescence detection unit. To get started, you need the Pipette 60 set, the Loopamp Pure DNA Extraction Kit, the Loopamp MTBC Detection Kit, and some general laboratory materials. First, put on 2 pairs of gloves, a laboratory coat and a mask. For the preparation, clean the working areas thoroughly. Distribute the bleaching solution and spread it with a soft cloth all over. Also, clean the HumaLoop T. Let the bleaching solution incubate for 5 minutes. Then wipe everything dry. Distribute distilled water to remove the remaining bleaching solution and wipe everything dry again. Now turn on the HumaLoop T to start the heating. Open the Loopamp Pure DNA Extraction Kit and take out the aluminium bag with the heating tubes. Then lay down a soft cloth on the working area and prepare the rack for the heating tubes. Open the bag and pour out the appropriate number of tubes, plus 1 for a negative control. Do not reach into the bag to avoid contamination. Subsequently, mark the heating tubes. Open the Loopamp MTBC Detection Kit and take out the negative control. Now prepare the second working area with the soft cloth and the rack with the tubes. Take the first sputum sample and tap it several times with the edge on the table. Open the container and the heating tube. Take the Pipette 60 and take the most purulent sputum portion of each sample. Make sure to operate the plunger of the pipette slowly. Rub the end of the tip on the bottom of the cup to avoid strings. Repeat the procedure until there are no more strings. You should transfer 60 microliters of the sputum. Transfer the sample in the respective heating tube. Rinse the pipette tip with the lysis buffer to remove the sputum completely. Repeat this for every sample. Now prepare a negative control for each run to assure a correct processing of the complete workflow. To do so, also transfer 60 microliters of the negative control into the respective heating tube. Discard the first pair of gloves. Now mix the samples by shaking the heating tubes. There should be no liquid in the lid. Check the temperature of the heating block. It should be 90 degrees Celsius. Put the tubes into the heating block. Now start the sample lysis. The remaining time for each step is shown on the display. Meanwhile, put the negative control back into the Loopamp MTBC Detection Kit. Take out the plastic bag with the adsorbent tubes and prepare the appropriate number of tubes. Try to avoid reaching into the bag. Loosen the powder in the adsorbent tubes. After completion of the lysis process, remove the tubes and let them cool down for about 2 minutes. Remove the caps of the adsorbent tubes, but do not discard them. Then shake the heating tubes. Screw the heating tubes onto the adsorbent tubes. Shake the tubes thoroughly until the extraction solution of the heating tubes is fully mixed with the white powder and becomes a milky emulsion. Repeat this step for all heating tubes. If the mixing was insufficient, a colored powder is obtained or there will be remaining powder. Then you have to continue shaking. Now take the aluminium bag with the reaction tubes out of the Loopamp MTBC Detection Kit. Take out the appropriate number of tubes, plus 1 for a positive control with the help of a scissor. Do not reach into the bag. Reseal the bag immediately. Take out the appropriate number of injection caps. Put the caps of the adsorbent tubes onto the nozzles of the injection caps and screw them onto the other side of the adsorbent tubes. Squeeze the tubes and inject the extracted DNA directly into the reaction tubes and discard the used adsorbent tubes. This step could also be done with the help of the squeezing tool. Close the lids immediately and mark them accordingly. Repeat this step with all adsorbent tubes. Now prepare a positive control. Take out the droppers and the positive control from the Loopamp MTBC detection kit. Shake off the tube with the positive control one time to remove the liquid from the cap. Transfer 30 microliters of the positive control with the help of the dropper into the respective reaction tube. Do not touch the cap of the positive control to avoid contamination. Put the positive control back into the box. As the reagents are in the lid, turn the tubes upside down and let the lamp reagents reconstitute for 2 minutes. Now mix the reaction tubes at least 5 times. These manual steps could also be done by Humax Eater. Make sure that the colored solution is at the bottom of the tubes when you finish the process. Now put the tubes into the amplification unit of HumaLoop T and start the isothermal amplification. The amplification takes 40 minutes, plus the subsequent inactivation of the reaction for 5 minutes. Meanwhile, the working areas have to be thoroughly cleaned again with bleaching solution and distilled water. Perform the same procedure as in the beginning of the workflow. After the completed lamp reaction, put the tubes in the fluorescence detection unit and turn on the UV light to read the results. The positive samples will now fluoresce green. You can double-check your results with the control samples. Document your results. Discard the reaction tubes and dispose the waste in accordance with your local regulations.